Hey, how you guys doing out here? James Humphrey with Associates Productions Movie Reviews. I got my co-host with me, Jimmy McMillan.
Hello.
And here we are on our final episode of Batman Month with the last two Batmans that we need to discuss in the movie franchises.
Three movies in total, but two last playing Batmans.
Yeah.
So kind of sad to see it end.
No, it's been a good month. Starting with Batman versus Superman.
Such a bad movie.
With Ben Affleck as our Batman.
Yeah. Everybody hated on Affleck. I didn't think he made a bad Batman.
When he first started, and when I first got the message or the news that Ben Affleck was playing Batman, I was very emotional. I was thinking, what the fuck was wrong with Zack Snyder and all this other bullshit. And then more photos and everything came out of the movie, more news, and then when I finally saw it, Batman vs. Superman is actually probably my favorite movie.
Really?
Yes.
It was one of those, I feel like it was just like a lot of unnecessary scenes they left in there, and it just drug on too long.
No.
And
then they have two versions of it. They have the 2 hours and 30-minute version, and then there's an ultimate cut, which is the director's cut, which added 30 more minutes
of what?
Of the film. It
Walking
makes more
around
sense.
and like and having like awkward standoffs with Clark.
Yeah, I love the movie. And the thing is the Batman that Ben Affleck is playing is not a young, I guess, naive or young, Batman. He's a much older Batman. I guess he's been Batman for like 10 years in the movie. And he's playing based off of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns Batman with the bat signal or bat.
Yeah, the
chest.
symbol that they had was I wasn't a huge fan of his suit. Like
I like the suit.
Really?
The suit was amazing. The cape was a little because he's been through some fighting.
Yeah.
But I thought you would think they would have more than one suit. But it looked like he only had one suit throughout the entire franchise of the movie.
His suit kind of reminded me of like the old 2001 Batman cartoon that they had.
It did look like Frank Miller just put some ears and then drew some squiggles on it, and then that was a symbol.
It was hardly even ear. Well, his bat ears were
they were
short,
smaller. The suit is very.
He looked more like a rat than a bat.
Very loosely based off the comic book, but then Ben Affleck played a really, really good Batman.
Yeah.
I thought he did. And then,
that made up for it, at least. Yeah.
And then for him to put him up against Superman,
it really showed his intelligence and his craftiness to be like, I can take on God.
Yeah. In Batman's eyes, Superman isn't the God, but the overall movie was good. Here's my discrepancies with the film. Or with Ben Affleck's Batman. And I like the way Zack Snyder put it, where he's more or less doing manslaughter than killing people. But it's very obvious in the film that he did not give two fucks about
anyone,
human life.
Yeah.
Or more or less not non-innocent life. Like the innocent people he more or less saved, because he obviously saved Martha and all the other people. But
for the first time we really got to see Batman use guns too.
Yeah, he was whooping ass. Yeah. Which is obviously Batman did whoop ass, but he put people in the hospital. He didn't more or less put him in the grave. And then again though, Zack Snyder doesn't hide it. It's not like, oh, he may be alive, he may not be alive, like in the other Batman films.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
you know straight up that guy's dead.
Yeah, that dude, he was hurt, or he fucked up, or dead.
And I mean, his whole premise in that was to kill Superman anyway. So obviously, like, Batman had that killer in him at that point. So,
and then I guess that's another little small discrepancy with the whole Batman killing Superman. Like, he was ready to kill Superman.
Yeah,
with the whole spear and everything. But I felt like the real Batman wouldn't so much as kill Superman, but find ways to
disarm him,
incapacitate him, that kind of thing, other than to like just get rid of him altogether. You know what I mean?
Which eventually Batman did kill the entire Justice League, depending on which story you follow.
Yeah. So. There's different storylines in there, but like I said, I thought Batman vs. Superman is like literally one of the best movies out there.
It wasn't definitely. Okay. It was, to to me it was bad, but it wasn't bad. Like, if that makes sense. Like,
It's
it was bad
long.
for like the way they kind of scripted it and had a bunch of, I felt like, unnecessary shit in there. But like, overall, like, if you kind of take out some of the crap, I think it was a pretty decent movie at that point. Like, and again, I liked Ben Affleck as Batman, and
Ben Affleck is a good Batman.
The Superman that they had in the film too. I really like that actor as Superman.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't suffer the same fate as the other Superman.
Moving right along to Justice League.
Good movie. I enjoyed Justice League. This is where we're going butt heads tonight, isn't it? I liked the Justice League. I thought it was good. It was,
of course, there's two versions of it. They have the Josh Reed fucked up version of Justice League, and then they have the Zack Snyder, director's cut of Justice League. But it's the same Batman.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. I felt like, because of the critics and all the other pussies and whining from Batman versus Superman, they made Batman and Justice League seem a little soft.
They did soften him up a little bit. They
softened him up a lot of bit. You know what I mean? And I didn't so much as like that about the film. Like, it's not... The two films are very different, depending on which ones you watch.
Yeah.
And so, watching the Josh Whedon Batman, where they more or less put the kid gloves back on, try to make it funny, try to make Batman do more jokes and shit like that.
Yeah.
It kind of killed it for me a little bit.
He made fun of Aquaman, so it was fun.
Yeah, all of that shit was just, like, don't kitty it up just because some people didn't like
the dark side of it.
Yeah, the dark side of it. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, that's DC, though. DC has always been such a good, like, dark comic book. Like, and obviously, even as kids growing up, go rewatch the old Batman animated series. That shit wasn't candy coated.
No, it was not. And
so it's like, it was okay back in the 90s. It should be okay now.
So they did a bunch of reshoots and everything else in the film, and it kind of felt like there was hardly any action in the film to begin with.
Yeah, it was more of a setup. Like, it was a lot of setting up.
They were setting it up.
But
because Batman doesn't have any superpowers, he really doesn't kick any ass in the movie.
Yeah, he just drives around the car.
He drives around the car, drives
with
around
turrets,
the bat,
and has all the gadgets to transport
gadgets
him,
and all this other bullshit. But you really don't see him kick any ass.
Yeah, because going against Steppenwolf, he was just there for moral support.
Doing a lot of ducking and sliding, which he did in Batman versus Superman. Going back to that film at the final scene.
Yeah, against what was it, Doomsday?
Yeah, when they were fighting Doomsday, Batman was doing a lot of ducking and hiding, and like,
Wonder Woman and Superman were the ones
poking his head out. I was like,
that.
y'all get y'all ass whooped. All right, let me get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? So,
grappling hook to safety.
It would have been nice to see, I guess, Batman go toe to toe with like some sort of superpower thing. I mean, he can take Superman on. He can't take on
Steppenwolf,
these little wingy motherfuckers and shit.
Yeah,
it's like
those things remind me of the little fuckers in Halo 3, like when they came down. Like,
I forgot what they call them. Oh, parademons. They call them parademons. Yeah, that kind of hurt a little bit. And then he did a lot of more whining in Justice League.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because he
whined about his back, whined about his shoulder.
Here's the thing. His whole plan was to kill Superman, right?
Yeah.
Superman dies, and now he's doing all this whining and bitching and moaning because Superman is dead, which was his goal. Yeah. And now like, we gotta bring Superman back to save all our asses. You know what I mean?
And then it's like, Superman's ready to kill him when he wakes up.
Yeah,
because he's like. Kind of like what
all this kind of could have been.
So, yeah.
All of this kind of could have been avoided if you would have just mind your business in Gotham. You know what I mean?
Right. But like shit happens. If it ain't happening in Gotham, it ain't your problem.
Yeah, I felt like Batman did a lot of more useless whining. You don't see Batman whine that much.
Yeah, usually he's kind of more quiet, collected, couple one-liners, and just more. And then I'm a hard ass kind of thing.
He's out there, looking for the other Justice League members. Well, I'm like, aren't you like a loner? Don't you like to keep to yourself?
It's because his ass is getting old. He old man bad.
Yeah.
He can't fight, by himself anymore. Robin done flew the coop, so
I wasn't too fond of that.
So,
but overall, most definitely like Ben Affleck's Batman. Christian Bale's Batman was really good.
Michael Keaton, still a personal fan favorite.
But, Ben Affleck's just a little bit higher than Christian Bale, Only because, like I said, Ben Affleck's kicked ass as Batman in that movie. You know what I mean? The scene where he's saving what's that bitch's name? Oh, Martha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he most definitely kicked ass. It was
kind of an odd thing for that. Martha being Martha Wayne, and then Martha Superman's mom.
Yeah, Martha Kent. Yeah.
They just recycle names in DC.
Yeah, really apparently. Let's go ahead and talk about the last one.
What the hell's that actor's name? Robert
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Okay, yeah.
So with the success of Batman vs Superman and the success of Ben Affleck's Batman, Ben Affleck was supposed to come up with he's supposed to first writing and directing and starring in his solo Batman film.
Why has that not been a thing yet?
I don't know. Some shit went down. Warner Brothers and all these other motherfuckers got
bring
involved.
Bring us an Affleck Batman movie.
They made another
solo.
I guess another deal or some other shit with Matt Reeves for Matt Reeves' Batman, which obviously he hired Robert Pattinson. Completely did a different story, all this other shit, and then you have the Batman.
So for the movie itself, I feel like The Batman was actually a pretty good movie. Like, I was really skeptical because the actor, and no disrespect to the actor, but he doesn't fit Batman. Like, to be Batman, I feel like he's just not, he didn't fill out the character. Like, he doesn't have the jawline. Batman had that, like, jawline, that really, like, buff physique. Like, he was a manly man. Mm-hmm. And after Twilight, I can't see him as a manly man. But as a Batman, like, when he was in the role of Batman in the suit, I felt like he did a good job, but missing that look, he just didn't make a good
masculinity.
He didn't make a good Bruce Wayne.
I fucking hated this movie. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I fucking hated this movie. And there's a lot of good elements of the movie, a lot of good things in the movie.
Like, they brought the penguin, which was cool. I like the way they did the penguin. I feel like he wasn't as reliant on Gordon in this one. Like,
yeah, well,
he was being sneaky about it. Like,
they
with
always,
the police department,
did some tag team shit. I felt like this Batman just got his fucking ass whooped throughout the film.
He did.
Like, he got his ass whooped,
especially at the end, like when they're all like locked up in that arena or whatever.
I feel like me and you could go take on this Batman and whoop and at least give him a run for his money. He got his ass whooped a lot.
Yeah,
and then he got shot a lot in the movie.
That's true. Usually Batman's a little bit more dodgy.
Yeah, he got shot a lot, like a whole lot. And then his gadgets were. He wasn't really using his gadgets and shit.
His Batmobile was fucking dope, though. It was basically a 68 Charger, 69.
But here's the thing. It wasn't a Batmobile. It was a Bat car. It wasn't a Batmobile.
It was a sense of realism. They truly took it to, like, a realistic standpoint with this one, though. Mm-hmm. Like, it was literally a man in a suit with shit that you would just have to makeshift your own to make happen.
But here's the thing. Batman is not going to knock on the door of the club and then ask to get in.
He's just gonna kick the fucking door down.
Yeah. So I'm like, he's knocking on the door. He's like, you know who I am? It's like, why would we not just whoop your ass?
Right.
And then they let him in. And here's the thing. You got to think this is like an underground crime club. And he's just walked around supposedly beating ass.
Yeah.
Supposedly beating ass. Why does the whole club just
swarm him?
Jump him. And even if they did, he would use like some smoke bombs, turn off the lights or some shit like that. But no, he's just walking down the hallway, just
calm, nonchalant,
getting his ass whooped.
Yeah.
And then the ending.
Let's talk about the Riddler in this.
Yeah, let's talk about the Riddler.
What the fuck did they do to the Riddler?
I guess they wanted to make him more menacing, more,
He seemed like the creeper, like, dude that have a 12-year-old locked in his fucking basement.
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing like how I would see the Riddler, like, especially from the comics and the cartoons and everything. Mm-hmm. It was a shit Riddler. Like,
he most definitely had some Joker elements where I don't know why every single supervillain has to have some Joker element ever since Heath Ledger and all that bullshit. You know, but it most definitely had that detective noir feeling, which was really good for a Batman film. Because you actually see Batman being a detective, not just, you know, whooping ass or whatever. You know?
Not
and even then, even being like a few steps behind at every single turn of the film, you know, you still get to see him being an actual detective. Yeah, good stuff.
Which the scene they deleted from that movie too, though, was when he went to Arkham to talk to a new Joker. Yeah, which I got to see that on YouTube, and honestly, like I would have liked to seen that left in the movie because the Joker they had for that kind of
definitely had a fucked up face.
Yeah, I would like to see where they could go with that because like it could be a new twist on the Joker, kind of give it that Dark Knight feel of that like twisted darkness to it, but kind of bring back that psychotic kind of funny Joker that Jack Nicholson kind of had. So it'd have the best of both worlds, I feel like, maybe.
Yeah. So still didn't like the film.
I liked it. And then they had Catwoman. Another Catwoman.
Yeah, I forgot all about her.
Yeah. She basically was running alongside with him the majority of the movie, close like halfway, three-quarter in. So
I felt like her role in general was kind of irrelevant.
Yeah,
like her being in the movie was kind of irrelevant.
They just kind of pieced her in.
They probably put her in there obviously to attract more audience and whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?
Because what was her backstory in this? Wasn't it like Falcone? It was Falcone and the Maroni or something.
Supposedly she was the daughter of Falcone.
Yeah, and the other one, the other mob boss, I think it was Maroni.
Was Sal Maroni, but I guess he got locked up because Falcone ratted on him. The whole rattle-atta, I don't know what kind of thing.
And then the twist with Bruce's dad involved with the mob too.
Yeah.
And that kind of made him a kind of a bit of a crybaby of, oh, my dad was
really
flawless.
Did, now that I'm thinking about it.
He's like, he had this like perfect image of his father, and it's like, oh, he would have never got mixed up in the mob, blah blah blah. And
thanks for pointing out some more negative shit on your Batman. That he's a whiny crybaby.
I mean, it was a good movie, but it did have some stupid shit like this.
Yeah,
like it's worth a watch through. It's at least worth watching and get your own opinion on it.
It is watchable.
And you obviously like if you're like me and probably don't agree with the Batman they chose. You'll probably still enjoy the movie. You just gotta make it past the first like 15 minutes, because the way it starts out is really fucking weird. Like it doesn't start out like you'll lose interest.
That is true. It does start out with him just walking out of the shadows, and getting his ass whooped.
Well, it starts out with that like sniper, like they're looking through that window.
No, it starts out with him walking out of the shadows and getting his ass whooped.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, at the train station.
it's after that part. Yeah. I'm just stating another fact.
You got to make it past about the first 15-20 minutes, and then the movie starts to kind of take off, and you're like, okay, this ain't that bad. Like you can kind of get into it.
Yeah, a little bit.
This guy.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. This is actually the season finale of our first season of movie review. So we've done 25 episodes.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
full season.
You know, we're going to take a break and then
vacation.
See you guys for the next season 2 of another, I guess hopefully 25 episodes, 30 episodes. I don't know how many.
Glorious shit talking of movies.
Yeah, of movie reviews. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.